are trying to fix their life into pieces. Their money, their relationship, their confidence. But if you're being honest, you've probably already tried that. And it didn't fully work because the problem was never the individual areas of your life. The problem is who you're being underneath it all. And until that version of you changes, you will keep recreating the same patterns, just in different forms. Now here's the part that nobody really explains. You don't need more techniques. You don't need more affirmations. You don't need to recreate your vision board. You don't need to try harder. What you actually need is a full identity shift. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in a way that will collapse time so that multiple areas of your life start changing at once. Hi, my name is Mar. If you're new here, this is where we talk about manifestation and how to actually rewire your reality from the inside out. And I'm not here to give you surface level advice. I'm here to show you how to become the version of you who naturally already has everything she wants. But before we go deeper, I need you to do one thing for me. Don't believe me blindly, but don't immediately reject it either. Test it, really test it. Because if you actually apply what I'm about to show you, this can change your life way faster than you expect. And if you're at a point where you're tired of trying to figure this out all alone, I do offer private coaching where we identify exactly what's been blocking you and shift it to the root so your reality finally starts working for you. Details are down below if you feel called to that. I will leave the timestamps right over here for you. Now let's go ahead and get started with this video. So let's talk about something that will literally change everything for you once you understand it. And that is your state. And I already know some of you are probably like, what does that even mean? So let me simplify it. A state is just the identity that you're currently operating from. Depressed, that's a state. Anxious, that's a state. Broke, that's a state. Lucky is a state. Confident, loved, chosen. That's a state. It's basically a label that you use repeatedly to describe yourself. Not once, not occasionally, but one that you keep going back to over and over again. And here is where it gets really real for some of you. Whatever state that you're in, you can only experience life from that state. So if you're constantly saying that you're anxious, that you're depressed, that nothing ever works out for you, you're just describing your reality. You're stabilizing yourself in that state. And then once you're in that state, you start attracting, noticing, and even creating more experiences that match it, which means that even if something good shows up, you'll either not believe it or push it away or subconsciously sabotage it just to return back to what feels familiar. That's why people feel stuck. Not because they're incapable, but because they are loyal to a state. Now, I want to say something really important. This isn't about shaming anyone or ignoring mental health, but we do need to be aware of this, of how often we're identifying with something and unintentionally reinforcing it. You're not required to stay in that state. And I want you to really hear that again. You are not required to stay in that state. States are not permanent. They are not your identity. They are something that you enter and something that you can leave. And this is both the problem and the power. Because just like that, someone can dwell in the state of chaos, depression, anxiety, or lack. You can also choose to dwell in the state of peace, luck, wealth, confidence, being loved, being chosen, and having it all. And here's what people miss. We don't stay in that state all day long. You shift states constantly, but there is one state that you keep coming back to because that's your home, and whatever you call home will determine how far you are able to go. So if your home is nothing ever works out for you, you might experience small wins, but you'll always find your way back to your baseline. But if your home becomes, I'm supported, I'm chosen, everything's always working out for me. Now you don't have to sound that excited, but you know what I mean. My life is actually really good. Then everything that matches that starts showing up more naturally. So the goal isn't to fix every problem in your life individually. It's to change the state that you live in. Because when you change that state, your thoughts change, your reactions change, your decisions change, your reality starts to change too. And from that state, you don't have to chase everything. It just comes with it. So I know you're probably thinking, okay, cool, Mar, but how do I actually change my state? I'm going to show you exactly how. And I actually want you to try this with me. So let's do a little exercise. Let's say that right now you've been in a state of stress, anxiety, or just feeling off. We're not going to fight that. We're going to replace it. Here's what you're going to do. Close your eyes for a second. If you can, relax your body and imagine a simple scene. Someone that you trust. Someone's opinions who feel real for you. They look at you and say, wow, you've changed. You're always so calm. Everything just works out for you. Don't just hear it. Feel what that would feel like. And instead of rejecting it, you respond naturally. I know, I really am. Everything's always working out for me. Now here's the key. We don't just think of it once and move on. We loop it, not forcefully, not desperately, just calmly, natural, like you're replaying a memory that has already happened. And you do this in a relaxed state when your mind is more open. And that can be right before you fall asleep, right when you wake up, or even when you're just sitting quietly at your desk. But that feeling matters more than the timing, because what you're doing here is you're impressing your new state. And once that state starts to feel familiar, that's when everything begins to shift. Now here's where most people mess it up. They do the visualization, and then the rest of the day they go back to nothing is working, I feel off, this isn't real, and that pulls them right back into the old state. So instead, throughout your day, I want you to gently return to it. I'm actually really happy. Things are working out for me. Not forcing it, not arguing with yourself, just returning into that, because once you've shifted into that state, you don't need to micromanage every single detail of your life. Your thoughts start to change automatically. Your reactions start changing automatically. Your energy shifts, and naturally too. You begin to experience things that match it. Opportunities, moments, conversations, even small wins that reinforce it. Yeah, things really are working out for me. And this is the difference. Before, you were unintentionally reinforcing a state that kept you stuck. Now you're deliberately choosing one that moves your life forward. So let me ask you something. Which state are you living in now? And more importantly, is that a state that you want to keep? Because if not, you don't need to fix everything in your life. You just need to choose a new state. Step into it and keep returning to it until it starts to feel like home. The state that you return to the most, that becomes your home. And whatever you call home will keep showing up in your life over and over again. So if your home has been that you're unlucky, that you always get hurt, that nothing ever works out for you, then of course your reality keeps showing you more of that. But the moment that you decide, I'm the woman that everything works out for, I'm supported, I'm chosen, I have it all, and you keep returning to that, that becomes your new normal. And from that place, you don't have to chase love. You experience it. You don't have to force success. You move someone who already has it. You don't have to convince yourself. It starts to feel natural. That's how states work. So instead of telling yourself that everyone always cheats on you, relationships never work out for you, you shift into the state of, I'm secure and in a loving relationship. He adores me. I'm chosen. I'm valued. And now your reality has to organize itself around it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to decide, what state are you choosing to live in now? Not the one that you've been in, the one that you're stepping into. And I want you to comment it down below. Not your old story, not what's been happening. I want your new state, and claim it. You change your life by becoming someone new and returning to that until it feels like home. And if you're at a point where you're ready to lock in, not just understand it, but fully shift your identity and your reality, that's exactly what I help my clients do. We don't just talk about it. We identify your current state, remove what's keeping you there, and stabilize your new one so your life actually reflects it. Details are down below if you feel called to this. If this clicked for you, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!